This is MDW from Getdatables podcast for live every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and Sunday for this week. Tuesday, Raw recap show. Thursday, NXT and AEW recap show. And Saturday, we're going to have the SmackDown show. Friday, Impact Watch Party. And Sunday, a Hell in a Cell recap show. A lot of wrestling going on. You got to adjust. So I'm here with Franco Varga. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Current GIW champion and Infinite Pro Wrestling champion.
Right.
Infinite Pro Wrestling will start doing more Twitch shows. They're gonna have a Twitch show coming up the 10th of October. So that's why I'm
Right.
talking to them to get ready. Want to get everyone prepped. As I like Twitch, I like the format of wrestling shows, live streaming on Twitch. I see no reason not to do it. You need a camera, you need some audio, and you're good to go.
Yeah,
So
man.
can you tell everybody about yourself, Franco? How you got into wrestling? Preferably, what inspired you to become a wrestler?
Yeah. So I actually, I have a football background, and then I kind of got invited to something with Gerald Briscoe that he was doing, and then from there, I just got invited to go to Puerto Rico and train with Carlos Colon and all that. So that's how I got started in wrestling. But yeah, passion wise, I stopped like a lot of people. I stopped watching when Stone Cold Steve Austin left. I loved it as a kid, but Attitude Era. Once the Attitude Era was done, I kind of stopped watching and focused on football. And then I became a wrestler after the fact. So I played a lot of catching up, um, the PG stuff. I did a lot of catching up, but I'm all caught up now. So yeah, that's how I got started. Since then, I've wrestled in 6 different countries: Japan, Australia, the UK, of course, America, and Mexico, Canada. So I've been all over the world doing this, and almost 7 years now. So yeah, that's what I do full
Well,
time.
before we get into something like you started watching, did you like? I know you said you started watching after the Attitude Era. Did you watch a little bit of the PG stuff before you went into wrestling, or did you like go straight into wrestling? And then like everything, and you got to pick new things up because the era, the style had changed on the indie.
Yeah, no, I watched a little PG, before I just kind of gave it up. I just Everybody stopped watching around the same time as far as my age group. I mean, you got to remember WCW was done. Then Stone Cold Steve Austin leaves, and shortly later The Rock left. So it's kind of like everybody that we grew up idolizing kind of just left all at once. So I missed a lot of the John Cena stuff. Mainly when Eddie Guerrero died is kind of really when I stopped watching, like officially was done with it. So,
Can you give me the year you came back to wrestling, and preferably the year that you started wrestling?
so I personally started in 2012, and that's really the year. Maybe 2011, 2012 was the year when I really started watching pretty hardcore again. It's watching almost everything I could watch. Right before the network, and then they had Florida Championship Wrestling was there before what is known as NXT now. So I never got to kind of see the whole building, the whole NXT thing, but I got to check out Florida Championship Wrestling, which was pretty just a big warehouse. um, but yeah, so that's kind of when I really fell into it. Was right around 2012.
When you say 2012, 2012 was like really when the Shield started to take, not like it was pre-Shield, but like the Shield was about to be a thing. So that's why I'm asking. So that means you must have watched a lot of Roman Reigns. And when I look at your style of wrestling, when I've
Yeah.
watched some of your matches, I can see a little bit of Roman Reigns in there, but like I'm a little more like not as like Roman Reigns match is the same match, but it's a different guy every
Hmm.
time he wrestles. But
Right. Right.
I can see you do some of his moves and whatever, but you like do them kind of better than
Yeah.
he does. If I want it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I just think the thing about when, like, just to justify why he does that, and like, a lot of people say the same thing about Cena. The 5 moves of Doom thing.
Well, I'm
I'm
okay
on
with
the
it.
yeah, I'm on the road maybe 180 days a year. Those guys are on the road 300 days a year. So they kind of gotta, you gotta. It turns into a job. And that's kind of what I want to avoid is is letting it turn into a job for me. But it turns into a job, so you can kind of see them kind of, yeah, it seems like it's the same move, different guy, or same match, different guy. But that's just to justify they have to do a lot of the same matches over and over and over. So the only time I don't like seeing that is pay-per-views. That's when you really got to bring it and kind of do something new. But but yeah, all those little shows and Raw and SmackDown and stuff. Yeah, they I don't I can sympathize with them where they're doing the 5, 6, 7 moves matches with the same different guy. So yeah, I understand your frustration, but yeah.
When you like wrestle like a pure power guy, you say you wrestle the power game. Do you try to keep it like in a format where you get it like in some of your matches you get beat up most of the matches you wrestle someone that's smaller than you because I'm guessing that's a lot of the indies now. You get to wrestle guys that are probably smaller than you. Do you have it where you get beat up most of the match and you make your big comeback? If you're a face, if you're a heel, it's probably the other way around.
Yeah, so I guess a good example of that, Jason Kincaid, he's been like with Evolve and he's with the WWE system for a while.
Jason Kidd? Or,
Jason Kincaid,
yeah, I heard of
he's
him.
a lot smaller. Yeah, he's a lot smaller. Me and him wrestled, and it was face, and that's a good example of that. Is just um, you don't really have to get beat up the entire time or anything like that. It's just I just try to do it what I can to be entertaining and not make it seem like it's something that you could have skipped, because it's if you go to a movie and you see every twist and turn coming, you kind of should get your money back. So that's how I feel about wrestling. You shouldn't be bored about any of the show, but unfortunately, sometimes you can't be, especially when you watch wrestling every week. So I just try to do what I can to. Yeah, I'm in there with a smaller guy. 9 times out of 10, they are smaller than me, but we try to do what we can to make it interesting.
What about when you get to wrestle a big guy? Because you wrestled some big guys. You wrestled Big Mike, Michael Elgin. You wrestled Brian Cage, current Impact World Champion. You were the X Division champion, and you wrestled Jonathan
Yep.
Gresham. Not a small guy, but he's no skinny twig. One of the best wrestlers in the world,
No.
in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. Those. I mean, I definitely have fun. Like one of my favorite matches ever is with Michael Elgin. We just have a ton of chemistry, and we're very similar size. And then we just killed it that night. I don't know if you've seen the match yet, but it's out there by now. And then I wrestled, like you said, I wrestled Brian Cage for the that when he was it was for the X Division title at the time. He was the X Division champion before he did the cash in and all that. So yeah, those were super fun. And at the same time, we can go 50-50 because we're both pretty big, and keep it believable and keep it interesting for the fans. So yeah, those are super fun matches.
Now, with those matches, how do you like the work? Because I feel like when you get like two big guys in the ring, I feel like it has to go like it's always so many different routes you can go. But I feel like big like when two big guys wrestle, there always needs to be like a story, and it can't always, and it's usually always big guy versus big guy, which one will fall first. Are you more of
Right,
an
right.
agile guy when you wrestle, or are you the one that's going to be agile, or is it going to be like someone else? Like when you wrestle Brian Cage, was he the one that was agile? Because Brian Cage is a
No,
great athlete.
yeah, no. Out of the two of us, I'd say I was the agile one. I do like a moonsault, and I do a bunch of stuff that you don't really see guys my weight doing. Um, so I'm 260 pounds, and yeah, I do moonsault. I do a bunch of big power moves. But no, I don't wrestle the traditional. It's not like Vader versus. You're not gonna see Vader versus Big John Studd when I wrestle. No, I don't believe that the big guy needs to stand there and take it. Nowadays, that doesn't really pass anymore. I think the I've been compared a lot to Keith Lee a lot, lately and things like that. And I love Keith; he's a great guy. I actually, unfortunately, never got to wrestle the guy, but I get compared to he's another guy that's doing justice to the big man right now, and it's just he moves very well. Samoa Joe's another guy that I love his work because he moves very well. Just because we're big, we don't need to be this big and slow anymore. It's not. It's believable that we can do these things. We just don't do them as many times as a cruiserweight would, but yeah, I can do almost anything that a cruiserweight would. I just wouldn't do it as many times as you would see them do it, and
And that's what.
that's what I think is keeps it fun and keeps it interesting when you see a guy my size decide to nowhere bust out a lion salt. That makes a lot of people get out their seats. So
See, that's what I like. I don't like when like you know there's that one big guy that always does. He's gonna be like when Big Show used to go up to the second rope and he would always act like, oh, he's about to drop his ass on you. He's about to drop his ass on you. And every single time he would get kicked off the rope. And I would get mad like, why are you fucking doing this spot? We know he's gonna get kicked off the rope. It's no point. But I
yeah,
like when
like I said, yeah, the things that worked in the '80s and the things that worked even in the '90s, you're not going to see them as much anymore because we've definitely have upped the game. And like there's guys like Jim Cornette that are gonna, no matter what you do, no matter how entertaining, no matter how how many stars you get, some people are just not gonna like the new stuff. Um, but at the same time, just because you can't just do things in the sake of just being new, you got I respect the guys that do all the new stuff with keeping the psychology of the match intact. That's always the hardest part nowadays, is keeping the psychology of the match intact and still being able to do some cool new things for the fans. So
well, I think
keeping
that
it
comes from like.
interesting.
Would you agree that comes from the fact that like a lot of guys don't want to like sell anymore? Because I was like a couple weeks ago back, it was Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins, and Brock was beating the hell out of him, and he just furied, and he hit a couple moves, and he pinned Brock Lesnar after Brock Lesnar was whooping his ass for 20 minutes, and he was really whooping his
Yeah.
ass. It's like that kind of stuff is like it makes me like it makes me like kind of like shy away. And then you say you compare yourself to like Keith Lee, which I feel like Keith Lee was one of those guys a couple years ago that just went under everyone's radar. And like, I feel like you being compared to him is a really good sign.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate sometimes when like the politics
You cut out there, what
to
were you saying?
actually oh yeah, I was just saying like it's unfortunate sometimes when the politics and the stuff that kind of happens backstage, if this guy's not really liking each other, well, whatever, that kind of takes away from the art sometimes, and you see things like that where like some guys just don't want to sell for other guys or whatever, or this or that. Unfortunately, that does happen, but I just think at the end of the day, it's an art, so we have to just do what we can to preserve the art, and then kind of go
Yeah,
our
so like I
separate
was saying,
ways.
you being compared to Keith Lee, do you see that as like a really great sign? Because Keith Lee was a guy that, if you're looking back at Corner now, look what he's doing now in NXT, that I'm sure a lot of promoters would kill to have. They'd be like, I wish I had that guy back then, but now there's a new guy named Franco that they see is similar to him. So I might as well
Yeah,
get him too.
I the only part of that I just wish I would have wrestled the guy. I've known about Keith like almost 6 years now. I never got, he worked, he was down in Texas for a lot, mainly almost his entire career so far. He was like kind of stuck in Texas or just really working the Texas area. And I didn't really do too much in Texas. I did the Amarillo loops and stuff like that, but I didn't really go too deep into Texas where he was working. So that's the only thing I regret. I think that would have been a great match. But yeah, it's flattering because I think the guy's work is great. I think he's good and he's a great guy. So
So let's talk about some guys you have worked. You've worked all Ego, Ethan Page. You've worked Robbie E a couple years ago now, Robert Stratus. You worked a couple Impact guys. So a couple Impact
yep.
guys that are now champions. So now I want to ask you, is there, are you one of those guys on Impact Wrestling's radar with them moving Access on Tuesdays? Could we see you get more involved in Impact somewhere down the line, maybe next year?
Yeah, that's so. It's no secret if you heard any of the interviews I've done this year. That's where I want to be, regardless of any of the other majors and things that I've popped up on before. I'd rather just be at Impact Wrestling. They know that, the fans know that, my fans know that, and I've just been doing a lot of international work. But I think that's where I want to be is Impact Wrestling. I have wrestled a lot of their guys. It's true that are champions now. I have nothing to do with that though. But yeah, no, they have a great roster that I would love to be part of. And Yeah, I've been used on things here and there with them, but yeah, I think that's definitely where I want to be. So yeah, hopefully it'll happen here shortly.
Yeah, I want to see you in it. I would love to see you in Impact along with a lot of guys that I got on my radar as far as like any guy that I've interviewed. I interviewed about two. I interviewed one guy that is going to be on Impact in a couple weeks named Tyler Tavera. Have you ever heard of him? And
I'm sorry,
I'm sorry,
what was the name?
Tyler Tavera, Tirva. It's kind of hard to say the
Okay.
last name. He's another guy that's going to be on Impact. But the thing that always gets me about Impact, and I don't want to shoot on Impact, but it's like there's so it's not just an Impact thing; it's an all promotions thing right now. Besides WWE and NXT, there's so much great young talent out here. And when I see you book someone that's older, not trying to shoot on the old guys, they've earned their spot. But it's like there's so many good young guys out here, and I wish you
Yeah.
just give them the spot because. Because believe it or not, that's gonna help you stand out. If you're that place to see the new talent, that helps you stand out so much.
Well, I think, and I just don't. Sometimes the fans aren't put into place as far as what comes first. I think what happens is it's cheaper to book a guy that's already established, even if he is more expensive than any of the new guys. It's cheaper to book him because he already has a draw ability. He already has he's already established in the business, and the fans are gonna hopefully gravitate towards your promotion because you have this guy working for you. It's always going to be harder and more expensive to put money into a new guy and build a star um, versus buying a star that's already made. And I get that. That's kind of where a lot of they tell guys is just get off social media and become a star, be somebody we can already make money off of. So that's why you see like the RVDs, the Sabus, Tell Me Dreamers, those guys come back to Impact. AEW, they bring in like they have their own set of guys that are already stars that they're brought in. So that's the mindset behind the big brands, the major promotions. Is like who are we going to be able to bring in that's already going to help us get some attention, versus signing a guy for 5 7 years and building him up for 3 years. Like the last real guy that impacted that was EC3, and I mean he drew a ton of money for them. And then again, everyone can leave at the end of a contract, so that's another reason why you're not really going to start seeing guys get built from the ground up as much as it used to be, because anyone can leave at the end of a contract, and then you're just sitting there kind of stuck. AJ Styles is another one. They put a ton of money into him, ton of the reason why he was AJ Styles, and then he just finally left for New Japan, and then eventually left for WWE. So um, they just kind of see it as dollars and cents, and who's gonna be worth keeping. And a lot of guys don't want to sign for longer than 3 years as it is. I would never sign for anything longer than 3 years. So
See, but like I feel like that's a crutch right now. Like a lot of promotions are using the crutches of like the old guys, the old faithful. But you know what's gonna work. In 5, 10 years, everyone's gonna be hurt because the guy that you could have been booking that could have been a star, they're gonna be 40 then, and they're not gonna have the drawing power, like like a you or a Warhorse or a Chris Bay or all these other guys. You
yep,
should be
yep.
booking them now, not in 10 years when they could either be injured or they could be they don't got it. You need to
Right,
book them
right.
now. Now, no offense to RVD, but RVD, even though he's not really going over everybody, come on, I can name like 5 guys that probably should have. Like if Impact gave him that spot, or if Infinite Pro gave him that spot, or any other promotion, it would benefit you longer in the long run, not just for today. And I feel like with the
Yeah, I mean,
upcoming,
I get. A lot of people do feel the way you do. Is a lot of people saw RVD, and from what I saw on Twitter and stuff, a lot of people, it was kind of mixed reactions, like kind of like, oh, Sweetie's back, and other people like, why? And I get that, and I kind of saw that coming myself, being so like close to the products, and I'm just like, well, it's half of it's gonna work with the crowd that they want, but then again, being on Twitch, you're looking at a super young crowd that might not even know who the guy is.
I feel like
So they might confuse them with like, wait, is this guy trying to be like Matt Riddle, and it's actually the other way around. So that's how the newer crowd, they might not even know who he is. So that's
Well, let's
it's a
get away
gamble.
from Impact. Let's talk about Infinite Pro. They're going to be going
Yeah.
live on Twitch, the October 10th. Tell me right now, how you been? You were the first ever Infinite Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. What does that mean
That's
when
right.
you first run it? Because it was a while ago, June of 2018 when you won it.
Yeah. Actually, I beat Chase Owens from the Bullet Club for that, and then I just kind of went on a tear, beat a lot of the WWE guys that they try to bring in, and so yeah, almost a year and a half. Defended it in multiple countries. So yeah, I was Mr. Infinite for a long time there. And then of course, contracts and things. I'm not sure if I'm going to stay. So long term, and all that. But the company is amazing. I mean, it's a great place to be. I want to stay. But I mean, it's just one of those things where I also want to go somewhere else to continue to grow. Um, but the company runs. I mean, they,
You're cutting out. Try unplugging your mic and replugging it in. Hello?
just I don't know if I want to leave or if I want Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, it made a weird sound. But anyway, I'll just you ready? You can just edit that part out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just oh yeah, so here, right. So yeah, Infinite Pro Wrestling, they do shows over 6 different states right now. They're basically like seen as the next Ring of Honor. And yeah, I was the champion there for a year and a half. The big rumor right now is just, I'm not sure if I'm going to be staying or going. And I kind of want to go so I can continue to grow, but at the same time I want to stay because it's home. It's home. I love that place. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on with me and Infinite right now. But yeah, it's one of the best places I've ever been in my career. But yeah, I mean, they're going to be on Twitch. There's already a ton of hype about it. Their channel's already buzzing. So yeah, it's gonna be a good spot for anyone to be. So I'd love to see a lot of guys end up there. Maybe the guys who don't really make it make NXT a thing, they fall at Infinite, or no longer Ring of Honor. They fall over at Infinite. Man, that would be killer for some of those guys. It's a good schedule.
Now, when you're talking about leaving, I know you would say you want to be an Impact, but going the way Impact books people, the way Impact's hiring people right now, what about other places?
Right.
Where do you see yourself going other places besides Impact?
Realistically, besides Impact, if it wasn't there, then I would stay at Infinite Pro Wrestling. Everyone knows that's a big one. I don't really see myself doing anything WWE for the foreseeable future. Just and then neither the AEW thing. I really wouldn't want to. I have a lot of friends there, but I just not right now kind of thing. So I think if I had to rank them, I'd say definitely Impact Wrestling number one, Infinite Pro Wrestling number two, and then the rest kind of falls like AEW, then three, then WWE four, and Ring of Honor last. That's kind of how I would for myself, Not that doesn't that's not how I feel about any of the products. That's just where I would want to be personally myself in that order. Yeah, if I had to rank them.
Okay, now tell everybody the reason they should want to watch Infinite Pro Wrestling on the 10th of
Yeah,
October.
yeah, on Twitch, man. So they're gonna have a lot of surprise guests throughout the season. As you've seen on the first one, the first one was WWF's Barbarian, the Hall of Famer and all that. He was the first like big surprise guest. But yeah, they're gonna have a lot of surprise guests. So that's for the for the older fans. They'll have a lot of those legends and stuff. And then for the newer fans, you'll be exposed to some really really good new talent, some regional talent, some international talent like myself. And then you'll have the world champion who's basically been he's like the greatest guy to never leave the Mid Atlantic, and it's like that North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia area. But this he was in the top prospect tournament for Ring of Honor. I mean, the guy's great, and it's just like that thing about wrestling is like, man, why didn't this guy blow up on a national level? Well, now Infinite Pro Wrestling, that's his shot. So you'll see that a lot of new talent, a lot of great tag teams. They have a really good tag team division, but they have really really solid singles. They have like I said, they have something for the new, and they have something for the older crowds. They even have C.W. Anderson, who's like an ECW original. If you loved ECW, he's there. So yeah, you'll see a lot. Like I've seen the list and the stuff that that they have coming up. There's a lot of like cool surprises, even for me, who I've been in the business now. So a lot of it, I'm like, I just did a show with Lex Luger, and that was like my guy as a kid. But I still just went up to him and was never, I just never geek out anymore. And now looking at the list of stuff that Infinite Pro Wrestling has, I'm geeking out, man. It's like crazy. I'm like, I would have never seen that match ever before. So that's like, it's gonna be once in a lifetime matchups. You'll see a lot of stuff, man.
You love to hear stuff like that. So tell me about some of your upcoming dates. You say you're going on another international tour. I know 2 days after the Infinite Pro Wrestling debut on Twitch, or not debut, but new episode, you're going to be wrestling against Damian Wayne in a last man standing match for Infinite Pro.
Yeah. So this whole month of October, there's some. I'll be at IWA Mid South. There's a big promotion out west, and then I'll be with Infinite 2 days and 2 days back to back. I'll have that. They're doing their big fan appreciation night, which is always big. This year, the special guest is Ron Simmons. And then after that, I'll be wrestling Damian Wayne, who's another Mid Atlantic legend. I'll be wrestling him in a last man standing match, like you said, and for Infinite Pro Wrestling in North Carolina. Those tickets are all available, infiniteprowrestling.com. And then after that, I got AML Wrestling, which is another really, really big one. And that's October 27th. Of course, Impact is doing their thing with Border City Wrestling, October 26th. That's up in Canada. That should be taped. I think they're just taping for that. There's some cool ones though. Some cool little like UFO Boston versus Brian Malonis from Ring of Honor. That's the first time a lot of the fans actually asked for that match. It's just two big guys for the first time ever, and that's happening in his backyard in Boston. So that's happening October 25th. Yeah, and then in between that, I got a bunch of things. So yeah, it's just all over the place. Next year, I'll be going to Scotland for the first time, so that's already booked and ready to go. And then I'm working on maybe getting myself to China. We're like, I'd say 75% done on that deal, so I'll be in China for the first time next year.
All right, man. Best of luck to you out here. You got a lot of good wrestling coming up, and best of luck to Infinite Pro. They're definitely on my radar now. And
Yeah,
since you
man.
wanna, maybe you haven't seen it since we've been doing this interview, but since you love the Attitude Era, WWE announced that on Friday, The Rock will be returning for the debut of SmackDown on Fox. So that's something to look forward to. Great
Nice.
time to be a wrestling fan. A lot of great wrestling out here. Go check out Infinite Pro. Go check out Franco Varga. Go check it out all. Go check out Getdatables. So much out here. Great time to be a fan. Hope you all
Great
enjoyed
time.
this interview. You want to plug your stuff before we get out of here?
Yeah, sure. I'm always terrible at plugging stuff, but yeah, I'm Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Franco Wrestles, all of it. I'm even on what's the other one? Snapchat. So again, at Franco Wrestles for all of them, and then ProWrestlingTees.com/Franco is my store. You guys can see I got like 10 different designs on there. So So yeah, just to spread the love, man. Then I just got just released Franco Varga versus the World as a Blu-ray DVD. It has matches from all over the world, every place I've wrestled, even the guys like Carlito, Chris Masters, James Storm, Simon Gotch. That's just a few of the names. Brian Cage, that X Division title matches on that DVD. So, you know what? I'll send you a copy. All right? How about that?
All right, love to get it, man.
Awesome.
Franco
I'll
Varga,
send.
go check him out. A lot of great stuff coming. Infinite Pro, mark down the day, October 10th, live at 6 p.m. Then they're going to be live again at 9 p.m. Eastern. This is all Eastern. So go out there, check them out. I know you might not be a fan of the Thursday night football. I mean, usually those games suck. So if you want to watch some wrestling, go check them out.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I want to stay.